Sorry, guys, but AnyDesk is still off. Are you turning it on?
Yeah, we are checking. Please wait.
Okay.
We are ready. You can connect to AnyDesk. Follow.
Okay, it was not the same as yesterday.
Say the thing.
Because I still see the one that we used yesterday from Etere VM1. It is still off. I wrote the machine name and the AnyDesk ID in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Etere VM เนาะ199လုံး314呀，对，叫他们，对。 Paolo, please try again.
Yes, I mean, I'm just checking if I have rights as yesterday so we can easily continue. Okay, we are fine. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Okay, so here we are. We are starting. Yesterday we have seen the major feature and major configuration for basic installation. And now we can see what is actually an Etere asset and how we manage media and metadata. In order to browse or search for any... Yes, I'm recording already. Thank you. When we are, in order to search or browse for any asset, we have to open the media library section, the media library module. It is available in many different main
Can you show
applications.
also a screen, please?
Oh, sorry. Really sorry. Okay, here we are. I'm recording, so you will see also later in the in the recording.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, so restarting. In order to open the media library, so the asset containing all the media and information, so metadata that users and system will use, we have to open the media library module. And it is available in many different application, in many different other application. This one, the media library first button. and it will open always in the default screen, in the default window, where we can find the asset search. We have a fully customizable window. So this is based on user. Every user can have its own structure for field to be used for filtering the asset search. In this one, I added yesterday, for example, the cloud device filter that I can choose to search only for assets, so container that has media in this cloud device, or I can choose to exclude all the assets that have a media linked on it. By right-clicking on the search tab, we have some additional feature that we can use. We can save the filtering that we are applying for a search so that we can run easily the search in the future. This in here in the saved searches module. We will see all the searches that we have saved. We yesterday used the cleanup search for an example for the automatic cleanup procedure, and we can also rename or edit. In here we have this is the actual query that the system is running on SQL database in order to retrieve all the asset. And so if you are comfortable with SQL language, you can even change it directly on there. Once we have saved the search, we can run the search and it will automatically give us the result based on the filter that we applied. We can also move this little part in here related to group are showing more tabs that are by default hidden. And the all tab is giving you the opportunity, the chance to use any filter available in the system. In the all tab, you will see all the filter that can be available. By default, it's not used because it's really it's not easy to use all of the filters. So you can just change. You can just change the filter, the tab that you are going to use more often, and you can add. You can search the filter to be added on the standard tab. You can filter assets for any kind of information, like, for example, based on the person in charge. So you know that someone is going to provide you media. So the asset is already having the name of the person or the customer that is going to provide the media. Or you can filter by production year, production country, media name. So there are a lot of filters. To add them, you just need to select from the list and press OK. They will be added. You will see them always at the end of the window, and you can move them in order to by drag and drop to change the order of the filter, or you can then remove if you don't need anymore. There is a little X at the right of the filter, so you can remove any of them. You can even remove the default one. This is automatically saved as soon as you apply the changes. So whenever you restart the application, you will see the lastest change that you made. Opening an asset, so double click on an asset that is resulting from the asset search, you will have all its tabs actually loading all the information related to the container. So the asset in Etere is a whole container of many information related both to the media, so to the movie or to the commercial, to the file linked to the asset, and moreover related also to all the metadata that you may need to fill, so all the information that you will need along with the media. General data, it is reporting the type of the asset and some more manual information that can be the production country, production date, and the self-production percentage, and even you can add some properties that will be retrieved from some additional flexi metadata. We have this kind of flexi, we called flexi metadata, those kind of field that can be enabled or disabled from the configuration section. In the settings, you have a bunch of many additional fields in here, flexi metadata section, that can be configured both for assets and even for media. We can have a different structure for information related to the container, so general flexi metadata. Sorry, I have a return on my headphone. Can you mute? Okay, perfect.
I'm muted. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect. So we have the general metadata section.
Hello?
That is,
yeah.
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What is the difference between metadata and flexi metadata?
Yes, metadata, let's say, are default ones. All of those information are actually metadata. We have then flexi metadata, so it is flexible metadata because they can be enabled or disabled by system operator, so from your administrators, and you can even create your own new flexi metadata because you maybe will need some information that are not managed by default by Etere, and you can add in this section any kind of new container for information, so container for metadata. Those flexi metadata will be shown here, and you can create in this section of metadata, your own structure. I'll just show you how you can do this, so it will be easier to understand. You see here,
Yes.
we have a metadata default layout, and this is this one. You have an asset and content media service tab. Those are by default created by the first system installation. And this is reflecting what we have in here. Main title, secondary title, series number are the same that we have here. You can completely change this view, adding some additional tab. So let's call the training tab. But in here, you will see all the flexi that will be available based on the configuration that we have in here. So we have only one new flexi that is available from the list. We can put it in here. We will save the configuration, and when refreshing here, you see here the new flexi. So based on the needs that you will have on your system, you can create also many different layouts, and each layout can be assigned to specific user. In here, I can set this default one layout available only, for example, for these users. I want the ingest users to have a specific structure of the metadata, so I can save in this way. And this tab, this metadata, will be available only for those users. You can create a new one. So usually administrator, of course, have a full view of all the flexi of all the metadata available in the system, in the whole system, because of course administrator needs to have an overall view on the system.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Okay. So for each group, for each layout, you will create a new group. So again, you will see all the items available in this way, because on the metadata tab, you already put them in different tabs. Administrator can have all together in the same tab or whatever you want. I will delete, so you can then create your own layout, or you can, however, ask for our help to create your own specific layout. We are just putting as default should be. Okay. And in here you have a full of list of comments, so you can create new layout from this list. You can edit the layout, so rename or change information. You can copy the layout, because maybe you have a base layout and then you just need to add some flexi. You can remove. You can set the layout as default. So in case you don't have any user configured in this section for each specific layout, the default one will be always the one with the tick in the left. Those other buttons are related to the group in the layout. Those tabs are named as group. So new tab, new group, change tab name. And you can add or remove user from this list. As I said, in this column, you will see all the items that have been set as available in this section. Here we have the main metadata dictionary as all those sub-menu that are created by default. Etere also has a lot of media info information that can be managed related to the meta file, so to the file, and then you can create only under the local node your own new flexi metadata. The edit can change the flex existing, and then you can use the add page. In the add page, you can select if you are going to create a new node. So the node will be managed as a main menu. So if you want to create a sub menu under the local, you create a node, or you can assign the type of the flexi. Boolean, main, true or false, flexi. Datetime will only accept flexis with, of course, date time structure. Integer will only accept numbers. and so on. The most common flex is the string value, so you can add any type of text, any kind of text on the flexi. You can also assign here. You can give a description. So test. You can assign a description, and you can also give an element definition, but it's up to you. Just only we are talking about descriptions. And you can define a list in case you want the flexi to be filled only with the specific value. You can create a list. If you have integer, for example, you can set a range from, for example, 10 to 1000. And once saved, the flexi will accept only value between this range. Or if you, in this case, as in this case, you have a list, you can set here just a list of available string for the flexi. So string 1, string 2, string 3. I'm just creating this flexi just to show you how it is going to work flexi method with the constraints list. I'm enabling the flexi for the asset, the general metadata structure. So this flexi will be visible in this section. Again, on right click, I have to set the layout. So I will add this new flexi on the layout. Drag and drop in here, save. It is the default one, so I don't need for the moment to add any user. I have here the new flexi metadata I added, and by clicking on this 3-point dot, I will have the list of available values. So I can easily choose one to put, and it will be filled. I can save and will be saved on the asset. In here, I can't put any other different information that is not from the list. I try to write test not list, but the system won't allow me. Test not list is not a valid value. This kind of flexi is mostly useful when you are assigning some task to users. If you remember yesterday, we were seeing the worksheet action. I'm opening again the editor. So this is the task, the action to assign some task. And I can, for example, assign this specific tasks to the nonlinear operator group. And I want to create exits for the task based on the flexi metadata I just created. So I want them I want the user to select as exit, so as a ending status of the task, one of those values. This will mean that the user in the interface will open the task, will do all the operation that he is requested to do, and then he will have 3 different buttons at the end of the task to assign the status. He will click on string 1, string 2, or string 3, depending on the result expected and depending on the action configuration. I won't create the action at this moment. Maybe we will see later when we will have some task also in the Nuncio application. But this is the main idea, or just a suggestion on how to use the flexi. I will keep this flex in here so it will be used in the future. So this is the main difference between general metadata, basic metadata, and flexi metadata. You will have additional flexi metadata even related for each different meta file. What we are referring to meta file is the logical link on the database to the file. This one, it is managed by us as meta file, so not real file, because we just are working on the link. We are not applying in this state. We are not applying any changes on the video itself or in the media itself. We are just working with information on database. That's why we are referring to meta file. In this case, we can have another bunch of flexes related to the meta file itself. If you have a list of different media from here, you will have for each one a different set of flexes. Usually, flexes for metafile are only flexi related to the media info, so don't be afraid on this part. They will only report technical data of the media. By default, they have been already created in this way, and we have all the information that can be retrieved by the media info when the action is run on it. I will show you an asset that has something configured in this way. This one should have all the flexes filled, not. Maybe this one. Okay, yes. In this case, when I was configuring the system, I ran a test action of the media info just to make sure that all the fields were correctly entered. And as you can see, the media is still reported as unknown codec. This means that at the time when I was running the action, this information retrieved by the media info, so format commercial, the format, the video format, were not still matching with the media info mapping that we see yesterday. That's why the media is still flagged as unknown codec. We have also on the we can have also on the virtual document section based on the asset and the action configuration, we can have also a report of the TXT or PDF file resulting from the action. Media info, for example, is creating a local TXT file to let the system import all the information in the database. So we can choose to add also the document, the TXT, so in the DOMA database. The DOMA is Document Management Database. In this way, we can, when we are adding a new codec in the system and we want to fill correct media info mapping, we can match manually during the configuration the information retrieved from the document and the flexes compiled from the action. When those information will match with the document, the media info will be correctly executed on the asset. Okay, since we are here on the annotation tab, we can have also a look on this. The annotations tab is called annotation because you can have a preview of the media that you have linked in to the asset, and start creating your EDL. So you can create segment for editing or the segment for the media that are supposed to be broadcasted or not. By clicking on the file, double click, it will load the player that has been assigned to the codec in the configuration. And if the workstation reach the physical path where the media is stored, you will see the preview of the media. We are playing them with the Etere player 2022. Okay, that was a black. And please notice this, that if you are using any workstation that has not an audio device linked or enabled on the PC itself, you will see the preview with a doubled fast speed. It will be played faster. This is a known issue of the players, and so that's why there is a message in here below that is saying that no audio device has been found. Once the media is loaded, now you can add your segments in the ADL section. You can add just an insertion keyframe as a point to split the media. Or you can add a manual video fault, so a black that you want to, a segment that must be managed as a black, or the visible segment or the segment for the editing. The difference between video fault and visible segment are easily explained as visible segment will be managed as the only segment that playout will use. The black will be automatically removed while the media is playing. Those are logical marks. It means that the media is not changed, but we are saying to the player or to the playout from which starting point to which ending point we will see the video. You won't have any changes applied on the media, and if you want the media to be changed accordingly to the EDL segments, you will have to start what is called a conforming process. So it is a transcoding action that will take each segment from the media and will create a new media based only on those segments. The segment for editing will be only used by the Adobe integration. They will have a specific type assigned to the segment, and they will be only visible and useful for the Adobe integration. So if you add a segment on a media with only this kind of segment, playout and players won't take care about these segments, and the media will be played for the entire duration. Once you start editing an EDL with a specific type of segments, you are not allowed to mix the type of segments. So in this case, EDL1, it is only available for segment for editing. you have up to 9 different versions for the ADL. Okay, check duration because I didn't assign any duration to the segment. So I can use this EDL9 to add some manual video fault, so some blacks. I want the player to ignore the starting point from 5 seconds till 6 seconds. Sorry, 0.6 seconds. It automatically calculate the duration, and you can even set some mark in and mark out using the track bar in here. So I moved to the 3 seconds. Well, let me move a little further. From 7, I can set here the button read the device position for some, so start of message, and it will set the time code taken from the player. Then I move again, and in the same way I can do it for the stop. Then I can move to the summon or to the EOM, just pressing the play button. You see the track bar is moving in the below at the pointing I'm reporting. Once we did this, we can save, and we have 2 different versions of EDL saved for this media. The EDL in this case is general. It will be available for all the meta file linked to the asset. So it doesn't matter which one you are going to open in the preview, the EDL will be the same. So you can also open the proxy preview that is transcoded from the source, and the EDL will be actually the same because it's supposed that the proxy preview will have the same exact duration as the main one, but just having a lower bitrate. We can even completely delete the version because maybe we don't need anymore it. We can delete the EDL1, or we can even delete segment by segment. Again, right click on the segment that we want to delete, and we can delete. We will see it with a yellow mark. We can keep deleting some segments, and then we can save. The deletion will be saved only when we click the save button. So now we have a cleaned up versions. Versions are available only if you open a preview of the file, otherwise you can't change them. And as I was saying, if you want to create a new asset, so a new container with a version of the media based on the segments, you can use the Etere conforming process. It will create a new version of the asset. You will see in here we have the version 1, so it is the base version. If you create a new version, it will be a version 2. You can create, or even from here. New version. And you will see that we'll have all the same information, main information, but will be a version 2. By default, the code will be the same previous code with _2. So with the underscore and the number of the version. From each version, you can move to the previous or to the next one. So we are back to the main one. And then the workflow that has been configured as default workflow for the conforming will start all the operation. Will check the ADL and will create the new media based on those segments. Talking about the workflow, as we were seeing yesterday, in the T workflow tab, you will have the list of all the workflow run on the asset, and you will have also all the logs, all the step-by-step information that has been performed. This is mostly useful when you are in troubleshooting phase, because you can reach back to all the operation, all the action, all the procedure that has been processed on the asset. So if they are still available, you will see them using the view log button. Or you can start manually a new workflow. As we were seeing yesterday, we can select from the drop-down list any workflow available. Just clicking on it, it will be added in an alphabetical order to the list, and then you can run the workflow by starting it. Just as a recap, each workflow, you that you are administrator, you can choose which workflow can be viewed, so used also by each operator. If I don't want to in this case we have user web to use a specific workflow, I will select the group where the user is belonging, and then search for the workflow instance that I don't want them to be used. If I denied all of them, the user shouldn't be able to see them on the list. We are still seeing them because the user is still administrator, as I needed to use it for the configuration. By the way, you can remove the whole list of workflow. That means that workflow will be, however, triggered by automatic procedure if they are configured to be automatically started, but the user won't be able to manage them manually, just for a safer configuration of the system. Mostly workflows are always triggered by automatic procedure or by buttons, not by manually adding and starting the workflow. For example, in the Adobe integration, you will see there is a button in the interface that is request file. So the workflow will copy a media from any location in the storage to the proper location for the Adobe integration. So the workflow is triggered by the user without having to manage it manually. It is using just a button and the system will do everything. The secondary events, for the moment, we can skip this part because you are not having a full playout with our system. We are just using Nunzio, so this is not related at all to the Nunzio. So I won't give you additional information that are really not needed. The EPG are just customizable tabs where you can add some information about the media, and you can define different languages in which you want the information to be added. Rights management, it is related to the validity of the asset itself. We can assign a validity start date and expiry date, meaning that by default, assets that are not yet valid and that have been expired won't be shown in the search by default. To show them, you will need to use the proper filter that are sells also expired asset or search also inactive asset. In the Etere system, we define assets that are not yet valid as inactive and assets that have been expired as expired. You can set here any date, and if you want to set an asset as expired, you can just click on the tick button. So make the asset as expired. It will take the date of yesterday automatically, and you can save it. By default, this won't be available anymore in any search. This is mainly related to asset rights. You purchase some commercials and you are not supposed to use them anymore because the commercial contract, related contract has been expired. This also will be, we can also hide the typeless reception tab because you are not really needing. And the media data tab, as we were seeing before, it is showing the list with some detailed information. So in here you have the list of all the media associated to the asset. We have a main ingested one on the ingest path. So this media, it means that it has been recorded by the ingest application. Then from the ingest application, it has been moved to the archived, well, copied to the archive storage. And from the archive, it has been created a low-res version, and it has moved also to the Adobe storage. So it is available also for the Adobe integration to be used. It is still not okay to broadcast because it has been not run yet any quality check, for example, process, or it has not been yet edited correctly as we have been seeing in the annotation tab. So we have the red bar in here. It can be removed by the action that we've seen yesterday, set okay or not okay to be broadcast, or even manually from the tick in here. This is the flag that I was talking yesterday. The set okay to broadcast or not okay to broadcast is this an action that is just enabling or disabling this tick in here. We can use the edit function. This is available only for administrator. User must be user shouldn't know about this feature, but administrator can edit manually this part. This is because since we are talking about meta file, we can manage link on the database, even if the file is not existing. I can, for example, fake a new media. I can add a link to a media that I know that is existing on the storage, but to have something done for urgent cases or for I don't know, maybe the application is not working and you need the file to be linked to the asset, so you can use the manual procedure. So you can set the device in the menu, and then when selecting the path, you will see only the device, the path for the device that you selected. And then you can create the link. So in this way, it is like any other link. And I'm saying that this asset has also this kind of media linked to the asset. You see, we did this without even knowing if the media is stored or not in the path. So this is just for administrator purposes for urgent cases. But this is useful in this case to show you the difference from a normal ingest of the file. A normal way that users are supposed to use for a manual ingestion of the file, so a manual link of the media, will be from the annotation tab, right-click on the section of media list, and then they can choose between media file import or media file link. The difference is that the media file import will create a copy of the file from any source location. Instead, the media file link, it is able to create a link only from the device that you are selecting. I just show you an example. Media file import. I can browse for any media from the entire system. I will go to the NAS, if I remember the name. So we have in here some media. Let's have an example with a short media, this one. I want to add this copy. Let's call it import media. So I browse for any file in the system. I select this one. Click open. I will see now the file for the list of meta device as destination. So I want to copy that media to any of those paths. Of course, those paths must be reachable from the workstation where I'm working, because the system will ask to Windows system to Windows system to copy the file from the source location to any of these destination. I want to put it on the upload device, and I will give a codec. I choose manually the codec to assign. I can set the unknown because I know that the default workflow will be triggered and will process all the steps to understand which is the codec. I will put unknown. Okay, this is meaning that, of course, I choose a test media from from the storage without knowing the duration of the file. So the system is correctly warning me that the file duration is different from all the other file duration that already stored in the asset. This is not this should be not a correct situation. So I don't want to continue, and I will create just a new asset to show you the example. Creating the new asset, I can assign a type. Again, I will create a test asset. I can assign a duration because I know that maybe the duration is supposed of the media that I will link is supposed to have a specific duration, or I can leave the one frame duration. The duration will be updated automatically as soon as the file has been imported and the media info has been executed. So again, on the annotation tab, media file import, the path loaded is the last one that I used. So the system remember which is the last location I used as a source. I was saying I want to put on the upload with unknown codec. So it was copying by Windows in the location, and it has been added. You see it is already set as not okay to broadcast because the workflow has been already started. And the first action to be executed is set the asset as not to be broadcasted because we have to complete all the workflow, all the steps. This, as we were seeing yesterday, is the after ingest workflow that has been set as default workflow to be triggered after a media import. Okay, so the workflow in this case will do all the operation, and we see how to import a media. The link, I will create a new asset to show you how the link it is working in a different way from the import. So you see that the first section that we are going to select is select the device where to pick the media. In this case, I want to take it from archive. This is the list of all the files that are existing in the archive cloud device. From here, I can't move. If I try to browse any other folder, the system will say that I can't because I have to pick a file from the previously selected path. So I'm forced to select a file from the source that I choose. This is because the system is not going to create any copy of the media, any operation of the media at all. It will just create a link to the media. So I can copy file, link media. I will assign the codec again also in this case, but we don't have any copy. We have only the saving procedure because it is saving the asset. So the difference is that link can only retrieve media from a specific device. The import can copy from any source to the specific device. The automatic workflow has been started also in this case because the same general workflow has been set also for after a media file link operation. We can sort all the assets by ID in the descending way. And we have our two last asset ingested. Okay, this is an example on how, for example, technician should or can have some troubleshooting for a problem. We see that this workflow is still active, but it is not processing anything. In this case, we should know that this step, this action, should be managed by the media manager service. But since it is stuck, we can see that the action is not performed at all. So we should see on the server where the media manager service is running what is going on. We can, well, administrators, of course, should know where all the services and all the applications are running on the system. But in case we don't remember them, we can go to the settings again, check the Etere installation page, search for the service for the feature that we are searching for, media service media manager, and we know that it's running on the VM1 and transcoders. Since this is just a copy action, we know that copy action have been disabled from transcoders, so we can check the service on Etere VM1. That's a good situation to also check how the service is working and how to keep controlling it in some way. We have here the Etere Media Manager service that is stopped. It is not running at all. We can try to have a start procedure. By default, it should be started by default when the system is has been turned on. Okay, now it is running completely. And actually, we can see that the action has been performed. It's been stuck for 5 minutes when we started the workflow. And when we finally started the service, it has been completed, it has been done. Also, in the media data, we can see that it's not anymore on the upload device, but when we refresh, it has been moved to the archive. So the service can be checked in the web application. There is no other way to for our system to keep an eye on services without having the web interface. The web interface can be retrieved using the IIS address of the Etere web instance. Yesterday we see how to install it. Of course, in your system it has been installed already during the first configuration. And we can use the Active Directory credentials. So each user can enter with its own credential, as it is on any other workstation or servers. This is something that I'd like to check with some of you, some technician from your side, as I will explain you later on the issue. By the way, I can enter the site only using the IP. This is, I believe, related to the double IP configuration on this server. But we need the external IP also to have the connection to AnyDesk so we can see it later without any problem. This is happening only on this server. It is not a big issue. Okay, thank you. So I can enter the Etere web section by using the user web credentials. And welcome to the web interface. Going directly to the media manager monitor, we have in the system menu this one. And it will load a list of all the media manager running on the system that are connected to this interface. Here we are. This is the service that is running on Etere VM1. We have another instance of a media manager service running on Transcoder 2, the Transcoder 1, and we have another one on Transcoder 2 that at the moment is not connecting. We can try to connect again. Probably it is stopped as it was on the VM1. And you can, from here, see all the list of action here below that will be managed by services. You can see which is the action that is currently running, if there is any. Or you can also stop the service. just using the paused button, because maybe you need to perform an update. So instead of going on services and set stop and having the risk that you are going to kill or abort any action that is currently executed, you can pause it. It will complete the current action in use, and then won't manage any other. So you can easily proceed with an upgrade. Every time that you run an upgrade in any Etere server where the media manager is running, the update procedure will stop and restart the service. So that's why the paused status is quite important. Transcoder 2 is not running. We can easily now connect to the Transcoder 2, that is IP, I take in here 22. Just to have a look of to the service. Let's see why we are not connecting to it. We need then at this step to mandatory check the service, and it is stopped as well. So we can start it, and as soon as it will be started, we should be able to connect again to the service, hopefully. Okay, it is starting. Let me check if the firewall has been, okay, it is disabled. We can try to recreate a link to Transcoder 2. Okay, and it is connected, also the Transcoder 2. How to see logs of the transcoders? We can only go manually, so for the technician, to the local user folder. We can browse by this way, user app data, that is an hidden folder. And log, those are paths that technician and administrator will remember as forever, because they will go a lot on this path. And you have the service media manager jobs section, or you have the main service logs that are called service media manager service main log. The difference is that since the media manager is going to execute a lot of these different processes between copy, moving, transcoding, renaming, and so on, each operation it is written in a specific short log. In this case, we have in here the copy job done on the asset 1. This one is the asset ID. And opening it, we have a lot of information based of all the action, of all the procedure performed. They are quite self-explaining. By the way, of course, in case of major problem, if technicians are not, of course, able to understand all those information, they can just save those information in so the easiest way will be create a zipped, a compressed folder and provide them to us, so we can analyze the issue and provide any answer if needed or any suggestion to fix the problem. I'd like to suggest to have a short pause so I can have a glass of water and we can go on with Etere Web also in next hour. What do you think?
Okay, gonna break out.
Oh, okay, just 10 minutes. So see you in 10 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, I'm back. Whenever you want, we can continue.
Okay, you can start now. Hello.
Okay. So we were talking about the web instance, so we can have a short presentation of it. As we were saying before, any Windows Active Directory user can access to the web. And just be advised that in the future, we are planning to completely replace the Windows application mm, from with the Etere web, but it will be still a long run for us to complete. By the way, this is the idea, and we can already perform all the major operation from web as we are doing in the application modules, desktop application module. For example, we have on the MAM section the same structure for the media library. So we have the searches, the new asset feature, and we can then manage each asset as we are doing in the desktop. The main configuration of user web users are in the user preferences. Opening it, it is like we are opening the settings part of Etere configuration. And starting from the general settings, we can set, for example, a different home page where to be redirected when logging in into Etere Web. We can add some widgets, so we can have, for example, a full text tab for search on the default page. We can have a list of last created asset. And instead for maybe administrator or technician, we can have also the workflow running tab. So as soon as they log into the main Etere web page, they will see the status of the workflows. Just to show you some example, I enable the widget for the full text and the workflow running widget. So when we go to the home page, we will see them. This is the new full text tab added, so we can already search for assets directly from the home page, and we have a basic workflow monitor information. Of course, each configuration is based for can be different for users, and we have a lot of additional settings that user can change for each own web interface. the web cutting settings, it is related to the nonlinear low-res editing section in Etere. And in here we can set which is the codec that we are going to manage as low-res file. In this case, I set the H.264 low-res as default one. And when we are going to create a new version of the file that we are managing in the nonlinear editor, we will create a new asset with this type, and we can select from any system type available in the system. Those types were again the types listed here in the Etere configuration settings. We have some account statistics about the users. So administrator can check login time and activity of each users. You can see all of them now connected because during the configuration I needed to set some settings for application with each users. You can see which are the user currently online in the web instance. And of course, we are only as with this user. You can also force the log off of the user from this section. You can see some user statistics and which rights have been enabled for the user. This can't be managed from here, but it is reporting the actual status of all the rights that we see in the main configuration setting on here. So this is just reflecting the status. To change them, you have to open still the desktop application. We have also in the app settings section all the configuration that must be used for services. Services can be only installed with the Etere update file. You can only assign the user under which the service will run. But if you want to change some option, it can be done only from this section. Of course, again, with the user rights, we can enable this app settings module only to administrators. So they will be the only one to be able to change such important configuration. For example, for the manager services, you can select for which service you are applying the changes, and you can change the refresh time. So the looping time to check if there are new action to be performed. By default, it is every 30 seconds, but you can decrease or increase depending on the system needs. And the number of log files that has been created for the main service, so the one that we were seeing in here. This is just the shortcut in Windows to open the local app data. So the number of files, it is referring to this. You can see 5 old log and then 1 main current log. So it is going to keep up to 5 old version of log. Those will be overwritten time by time. The file size in bytes of each txt file, and then the maximum number of job glob files. So within this subfolder, job folder, will up to 30,000 jobs. and each option can be different by service by service. We have also since it is a transcoder, we have also some additional information like again database fetch interval, so how many times it's going to check the list on the database and so on. We have also the ignore non-ingested asset because it was you can execute some external processes that does not need at all a media linked to the asset. So usually by default the service and won't be execute any operation if the asset has not any media, but we can decide to ignore or not them. This is the download section for the Nunzio application for smartphones. The ATXM converter, you are not licensed, so it is not available in here. Then we have the configuration for all the ingest channels. We will see, I guess tomorrow we will have a deep look on how to ingest media with the ingest application, so recording them by SDI channel or with the active sync configuration. So we will see the automatic ingest process. And in here we can set up all the specification for each service that is running as ingest channel. Memory is not included in the your license, so we can skip it. Here also we have the configuration for ingest. Ingest for active sync. Active sync service has been installed in the ingest 1 and ingest 3 workstations, and we will set up the specific configuration to automatically ingest media as soon as they have been copied on the storage folder. Some other information that can be managed from the Etere web are artists and genres. So you can add artists information if you need them to be used as metadata in the system. We don't have any artist, but we can add them using the create new artist button. You can set the name, surname, stage name, and so on, all related to artists. Or you can have the T workflow monitor section. That also it is important for technician and administrator to have a control on all the workflow and operation that are running in the system. From here, you will see the list of all the workflows, and you can move also to the data mover monitor. That was the one that we've been looking at few moments ago. And it will list all the action related to the each data mover. Those section and also the searches in here and the resulting structure can be configured on this part in the Etere configuration. In settings section, we have the web configuration menu, and we can configure layouts for all those sections. For example, for web advanced search, at the moment we are using a default template that is showing all the filter available in the system. But as well as we can do on the Windows application, we can create a different template for different users group. I will apply a new layout for the Etere web as example. You see by default I can see all of them. But if, for example, I need only advanced search based on filter related only to media, I can remove all of them, all the others. One by one, and put to the and click the remove button. So I can save my structure. This will be, I can choose for which user belonging to the group can be applied, but in this case I have only one user, web user for the web group. I will save, and I don't have anymore the general tab, so I can't search anymore for code, ID, inactive asset, and so on. I only have extended media and nodes, quality site, and so on. So we can put back all of them. And we will have again the tab available. This can be done for each user, can be done so in from administrators to assign the configuration for groups, or the user can even change the sorting of those filter in their section. So I want to not see some of those filter. I will drag and drop from the selected to not selected list. They will be available or not in the filters. We can also define how we will have the resulting view. So we can have by default, let me search for something like this in here. Searching for only test assets. This is the default layout that we have for asset search in web. But as we can do it on the desktop application by right-clicking here and select which column to be shown on the result. Also on web, we can define which column to be shown when having the resulting list of files. So for Etere web, for example, I want to only see ID and media, code, and duration. I can apply this layout for the user web, and I then run again the search. They have a completely different view. So it can be managed for all users, all groups, and so on. We can add some asset to as favorite. So opening one, we can create our favorites list. So once we open the asset, we will see all the operation, all the feature available in the desktop application, also in the web application. To set as favorite, we have here add favorite, and we will see, yes, we can create a new list for favorites, but just as a shortcut to enter first to the asset, and we have it as a favorite. The most important part on the web interface is that again we have all the flexi here working in the same exact way as they are working in the sub application. For example, we have the testy flex metadata with the list of strings. But in the annotation tab, we can only have the preview of default low-res codec if it is existing. For the new version that we created before for as a test, we don't have, this is the version 2, as you can see, we don't have any media linked, but just as a fast test, we can move directly in here to another asset. And we can see here it is existing low-res media to be played because the square around the thumbnail is green. So it is giving a visual message that it is available, a low-res version, and you can play it. We have again in here all the list of ADLs available, and as we did on the previous desktop application, we can create a new segment, assign a SOM in here, set SOM and set end of media. We can give a description of the segment, and we can save. The system create automatically a thumbnail related to the segment, but we can change it by moving the player on the file and selecting the button create the image for this segment from here. If we open the asset on the desktop application, we can see that everything has been already available also in the desktop application. We can see here the visible segment just added on the web. The T workflow, it will show again all the workflow run on the asset, but just in a different interface. But you will have all the same information. Now I can't open any of the workflow because I removed the user rights to the user. So it is not possible to start any workflow anymore for this user. Within the memory section, we have the web cutting part. So the non-linear low-res editing part. We set on the configuration to use the codec H.264. So it is by default searching for all the codec that are matching with the configuration existing in the system. If we want to take one as a test, we can use this media from test-track2 code. So this one. We will have a preview in here. I changed the configuration to let it work on the nonlinear editor section in here. So we will need to check it with this with this IP, so from this station. It is enabled only for those stations. By the way, you will see here the preview of the file, and in a really similar way as we do the editing of segments, we can create a start ending point and create a timeline in here and run the something that it's like conforming. It is performed by the IIS service configured in here. It's no, sorry, in general tab here, we have the web service that is performing the operation in this server. So it will create a conformed version of this low-res file to be edited. We have also a section for Nunzio in the web, but for the moment I just suggest to keep using the desktop application because it will be much easier to be used and will be also easier for the first time to have a look on all the things that are going on during the playout. And then we have also the report section. We need still to configure it. We will have the reporting service already installed in the SQL service, and it must be set up in here. We will need to report the web service for the report from the SQL service, and we will have a list of report. I will configure it later on after the training, so tomorrow I will be able to show you something. And again, on the main system section, something that must be useful for you is the roles section, where you can create or edit roles available for the Nunzio part. So by default, we have an anchorman, approver, journalist, and redactor. In case you need to add or change them, you can just modify them and set a different description, or you can add them. By using those roles, we will have a different management and a different way to assign tasks or stories or rundown to those specific roles. And you can manage them in this section. We will soon remove the automation tabs or any other tabs that you are not going to use. But for administrator and system technician, the dashboard is another useful page that is giving a lot of information related to the system itself and to the SQL performances. So for administrator or IT managers, this can be set as default web page when you are going to log into the Etere web. And you have a lot of deep statistics related to SQL. You can have the largest table on the database and the most, let's say, the heaviest queries run on against the database. You have also the refresh button, or by the way, it is having a refresh loop quite long. There is also the section where users can send between them some messages. It's a way to communicate without using external services or needing to have mm, mailing database setup. And you can just create new messages in the section or enter in the send message or messages section. You can send the message to groups or to specific operator within groups. You can write the title and send just a message and say it is an email. And then on the user messages section, you can see the inbox section if you have any. Also, you have the genres section, so you can create genre or subgenre of your assets. So this is depending on the metadata that you are going to manage in your system. Just to let you know that you can have a main genre or subgenre type. Subgenre will be need to select a parent genre to be linked. But I guess that won't be, in your case, you are not going to use any so much genre and subgenres. In the MAM section, you can also schedule periodic or one-time scheduled ingest. So you want to have some recording processes to be performed in an automatic way, so following a schedule. You can schedule them in this section. And you can also have a check of the current schedule, so the current configured ingest that will be run from this moment in the future. We will have all planned single ingest, planned periodical ingest. You can filter them by this kind of configuration, or scheduled live ingest. When creating a new single recording, we will set the description of the recording, and then we will choose to which asset will be ingested the media. Usually we should set an empty asset, so we are not going to replace any of the media already existing in the asset. And any default workflow will manage the media as soon as it's been recorded. We can set which ingest channel we will use, depending on the configuration on main resource. And we can set the moment on which the recording will start. So the date, today at in few minutes, or we can set it at 5 in the morning, in the afternoon, with also selecting the duration, 5 minutes for example. Once it has been saved, you will see the recording available in the list. This is the planned single ingest, so it will be run one time only, and then it won't be performed again. We change the view, we don't see it anymore. Let's have a look, since we are talking still of Etere Web, let's have a look from the workstation 101 as an example, just to see the preview of the media that can be edited from the web cutting section. Yes, I guess they are turned off, so we can just have, if you can, we can have a look now, otherwise we will move to tomorrow. There's no problem. Okay, thank you. We are connecting now to the 101, so a first um, client where we can check the nonlinear editor with low-res files. On this client, for example, I installed Etere during the first configuration, but it is not actually required. If the client will be used only for this low-res editor, we can remove the Etere installation, so as the user can work only on Etere Web. There's no need at all to use the desktop application, and it means that removing the installation from that client, you will have mm, a license available to be used in any other PC. So again, just to double check it. On the PC list, we have that low-res NLE -1 server that can be removed from the list, so you will have a lower number of detected PC, so you will be allowed to use more clients. By the way, back to the configuration, we saw that web cutting is under the memory section. We already have the configuration for this different user to use the H.264 application codec. So we can select the file to be previewed or to be used. And we have the preview in here. We can move on the trackbar, and user will be able to set a starting time and an ending time, for example, to create a first segment. And you will see it in here. You will have user will have in here all the list of segment that needs to be managed. He can save the project. So that the project can be retrieved anytime in the future. And selecting any other file, we can add another media on the timeline and proceed in the same way. So moving the media in the timeline, setting the starting and ending time, and performing any kind of modification that it needs to do. The preview can be also put as full screen. We avoid this in the moment because we are working in remote sessions, so we will just decrease the internet speed, so we can just look at in the little windows, and we can create a new project or open any existing project. I saved some of them during the testing phase. During the configuration, we can open the webcut first, and it is loading the related media in the timeline and the segments. We can create then the timeline, so a preview of the timeline that we created, or we can run the create asset process. So it will create a new asset with type test asset and assign the conformed version of this low-res media and linked to the new asset. This procedure, it is performed by the service on IIS, the web service running on IIS. So it will create, let's go in here, it will create logs in the temp folder and create also the temporary media in this section. This means that it needs some full rights on its own folder, but has been already configured by the first installation, so everything is fine. This is needed only if you need to install a new IIS service in another server. And it will use these DLLs to perform the conforming process. The media from the temp folder will be moved automatically to the destination device. So for the user, everything is, let's say, transparent. No need to do any other operation, but start the process from the interface. Let's have a look also to the Adobe integration, since you are started also the other machine. It's not up yet, but it's not really needed because we can see it later. There's no really need to open now the Adobe integration, as I'd like to see it after we have seen already the Nuncio interface, because the Adobe integration has some features that can be much useful for the Nuncio usage. So you can see on the Adobe integration the list of stories and rundown that needs a media to be added. So we will see it later after the Nuncio configuration. Let's have a look. We can already move to the automatic ingest process with the ActiveSync. But before moving to this topic, because it will be completely different from the one that we've seen till now, I just need to ask you if you have any question, or if you understood almost everything that we've seen till now, or if you have any question.
Yeah. Hello, Pablo. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
We are full inject PC for baseline inject. Sometimes we need to import file from as well as external had that something like that to the remand system. So we need to configure about file-based inject.
He asking you about how we gonna ingest from Firebase.
Okay.
Yes.
I showed you the manual way to ingest in file-based. So from the asset form, right-clicking, you've seen file import or file link. The automatic way, where you can just copy the file into a folder, and then the system will scan periodically the folder and ingest the media, it is done by the ActiveSync service. So since you are interested on it, we can move directly on this topic and have a look on how to configure and use the ActiveSync service. Okay, just let me remember where we installed it. Ingest 2 and Ingest 1. Okay, we can move to Ingest 1 PC. Is it open? It is running. Let me check. One is 23. Yes. Okay, so Ingest 1 can be used both for automatic ingest process, file-based ingest, or for manual recording from an SDI source. We will see later the SDI source recording. Let's see how we can manage the file-based ingest. We have, oh, sorry, we have in here the Etere active sync service that is running. We need to configure to assign a specific folder to be scanned by the service. So we can go to the Etere web application also from here. We will log in with the ingest one user. I can save the password as it is server password. And we are going to set up the active sync service. We have ingest 1, ingest 3. We can check which is the configuration set for this service. We have some general information that can enable the main backup system interface. It means that you will have always an active scene running, and in case of failure of this workstation where it is running, a backup service will be started where it has been configured in another application. So you will have always an always on service for the file-based ingest. These are some additional information again related to logs and duration of logs. And we are going to sync media that are stored in a cloud device. So the cloud device is always linked to a storage path. We keep the storage path and the information in database synced together. If the media has been added on the storage, the service will check if there is any asset that is already existing with a link to that media. If not, it will add. Otherwise, it will just update the link if it is already existing. We can also set the delete media entry option if the file doesn't exist. It means that as soon as we remove the media from the path that the service is scanning, the system will also remove the link on the asset. So actually, as I said, it will just keep updated the folder with the database. There are some other information in here, but just check how the files have been managed on the path, so we can set also any additional information. Here we can create the list of the folder that we want to be scanned. So for an example, so then when you will have some more information or detailed paths, we can change it. But at the moment, I created just an active sync folder related to the cloud device active sync. So we will see, we will set that all the file associated to this path will be linked to the asset, assigning the code unknown. Always means that the process is always running on this path. Otherwise, you can set a specific timing of the day where the scan of this path can be performed. You can add some filters to exclude the file. So you can just set the exact name of the file that you want to exclude, or you can set, for example, if you want to not manage any MP4 file, you can set it like this. and then use a semicolon to set another filter like this, and so on. And we can assign the workflow that can be triggered automatically as soon as a file has been linked to an asset. So the workflow to launch when a media is associated to an asset. We can use the after ingest workflow as, because it has been created to be a general one. And in case we need to create a new asset, we can set the type of the asset. We can choose to create the new asset or not, because we may need to have the active sync to link media only to already existing asset. This will work only based on the asset code. For example, the file name of the media that you want to be linked on the asset must match with the asset code. So, for example, if in the folder I still need to delete the credentials. Okay, but this thing for the moment is empty. We can copy a file from here and put it as example. And I want to rename the file. I want it to be test active. This means that if I say on the configuration that I don't want the service to create new asset, this media will be linked to an asset only if on the Etere system it is already existing a test active code for an asset. Otherwise, we can create a new asset, and it means that if there is anything with this code on the Etere system, the service will create a new asset with code test active and link this file to that asset. When creating new asset, we can choose to rename file based on the ID or rename on specific information. But at the moment, this won't be our need. And just to let you see how it is working, I will remove the create new asset option for the moment. We have some additional options in case we have an XML with some metadata that must be added on the asset. So the file will be managed only if there is existing on the same source folder an XML like this. Let me create just an example. So an XML that must have the same name as the media file that will be managed. And some other additional option that have been developed for some customer requests that can be managed as general or not. That's depending on your needs. But the XML is the most common if you want to add to the metadata to the asset some metadata already provided from the provider of the media. Subfolder is only related if you are going to use bundle media, so media from external shot. By the way, this is the basic configuration of the ActiveSync service. So we can save all the configuration and check if the ActiveSync service it is loading properly the configuration that we set. In a similar way as the Media Manager service, we have also in here logs on the local app data folder. I miswrote. For the ActiveSync, we don't have any interface for the service. So if it is working currently, we can just check logs or result in the asset search. In here we see when the service has been started, that it is loading all the configuration that we made. This is the XML that it is loading all the configuration. And this is the first path that has been processed by the ActiveSync. Those are logs. So let's see. If the file has been ingested or not. Oops. I'm not. Okay, all apps in here. Let's go to Etere. We have also the old way to use the ActiveSync. If we are not really comfortable with the service, we can even switch to the desktop application. So the test ingest can be managed because we don't have the asset. I will create an asset code with test active matching with this one, and then it should be correctly managed. Depending on the looping time of the ActiveSync, so it is every 10 minutes, so I will start and stop manually the service to let it start again. Let's see. Let's have some zoom out to check better the log. Okay, the path is correctly seen from the ActiveSync service. And this is the moment where it tries to link the media. Okay, this one. You can see it is finding media on it. And it correctly found the asset, code program test active. So it is relating to the ID 3041. So it should have correctly linked the path, the file to the asset. So on the ID asset 41, we should have the media linked. Let's see. Oh, we have it. And again, the after ingest workflow has been started automatically. So this was just to explain the main purpose of the ActiveSync. Whenever you put a file into this folder, every 10 minutes for the moment, but every loop time set in here, it will scan the folder and it will manage the file. You can choose to create a new asset every time it finds a new media. With this, or if you have already created all the asset in a different way and you already know that you will receive media with a specific name, you can keep the option without creating new asset. Everything will be done automatically and you can set up as many folder to be scanned as you want. Basically, you can distinguish folders because you have different type of media provided. Maybe commercials or promo, or I don't know, in your Nuncio system, which kind of media you can receive with different specification. But in this case, for each folder, you can ask the system to create asset type that will be different with their properties. So for the ActiveSync based the default folder, you can set up to create only news asset. If you receive media from ActiveSync 2 folder or the third one, ActiveSync, you will set up a different kind of type. Do you need any specification in, because I believe that it is not quite clear this topic. Do you have any question about this? Or at least this should be this should this should be an answer on your question. This is how you can ingest file-based media.
For a moment, we don't need anything yet. Okay.
Sorry.
For a moment, we don't need any type.
Okay, so a specific, cioè a default one,
Yeah,
a general
yeah.
one. Okay.
I'll let you know whatever we need.
Okay, there's no problem. This is the configuration will be quite easy to be done. This moment is just to be sure that you are getting the idea and the meaning of all the processes.
Yes, and it's good.
Okay.
Okay, we have one more question, please.
Yeah, sure.
This transcoder want to be parallel working or at this time I'm working. I want to know another thing. I want to know also how many transcoding job at the same time.
This is depending mostly on the performance of your transcoder. I see that the transcoder is quite good. So you can have up to 5 or 6 transcoding in the same time, depending on the CPU usage and the profile that you are going to use. Of course, the highest sorry, I don't remember how to say in English. The highest definition or bitrate that you want to have as resulting file will need a lot of more performance from the transcoding server. But we can configure the transcoding process to base almost all the job on the NVIDIA card. So we can use the GPU instead of CPU, and it will help a lot to the server. But I can't give you an estimated number of transcoding process. In Etere, you can start many process without limitation. It is depending only on transcoder performances. We can then limit the number of parallel processes depending of limitation of the server itself. To give you an exact answer to your question, we may need to run some transcoding with the profile that you need and have check when we have full performances of the transcoder. But you can easily set the number of transcoding process performed at in the same time in the action parameter. I will show you where you have all the action of transcoding processes within the transcoding section. And opening one with a double click, you have here the option concurrent processes. By default, we have always up to 5 parallel processes. So you have 5 transcoding in the same time. We suggest to not go over this number, but you can modify it whenever you want. If you see that 5 transcoding processes at the same time are killing the transcoder server, so you see that the transcoder server can't manage them, you will need to decrease to 4, 3, and so on. Are you still there? Because I see some person that have been dropped from the chat. You're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
I can repeat all the answer. I don't know how long you were disconnected from the meeting.
Just we can hear anything. There is something wrong with the internet connection.
Okay, so you didn't heard anything.
Yes. We couldn't
Okay, so
hear anything. Can you repeat it?
Yes, sure, no problem. I was just saying that it is not possible currently from my side to tell you how many transcoding processes you can have in the same time, because they are mostly depending on the transcoder performances. I've seen that transcoder server is a quite good server because it has a lot of RAM and it has the NVIDIA card that can be used for to use the GPU instead of CPU. So it will help a lot with the performances. By the way, we can manage the number of transcoded performance in the same time within the option in the transcoding option, transcoding action. So you have the transcoding action in the menu of the workflow action list. I can keep just an example as the normalizing transcoding. By default, we set always 5 concurrent processes. This means that you can have up to 5 transcoding at the same time for different media, of course. So if you see that having 5 transcoding process simultaneously are killing the transcoding server, so it means that you are risking.
So that means we have 2 transcoders for one, each one for 5 concurrent process. So we have 2, totally 10, right?
Yes. If the transcoder server can manage them, yes, you can have up to 10 transcoding processes in the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But if you want, you can even increase the number, but I won't suggest to create more than 5 in the same time for each server.
Yes, okay, got it.
Well, okay, guys, if you don't have any additional question for the moment, we can stop this training also today, and tomorrow we will see the ingest with SDI, so based on the signals, and the integration with Adobe and Nunzio. We can start having some deep training with applications.
For our side, we don't have no more question. Thank you, Paolo, for your time.
Okay. Hope everything has been clear till now, and see you tomorrow.
Okay, we clear, understand. Yeah. Thank you very much
Perfect.
for the time. Yeah.
Thank you. I will provide the recording of the session later, as I did yesterday.
Yes. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.